Welcome to Conviction and Controversy, a space for reason, conscience, and honest reflection. I was taught to need what I do not, to believe that safety came from a salary, and that worth was proven by the comfort I could buy. That's the story most of us grow up with, right? Work hard, climb the ladder, collect the stuff, and someday, you'll feel secure. But I chased that promise long enough to see the trap. Every raise felt good for about a week. Then the noise crept back in. The same emptiness, just wearing a nicer suit. The truth is, it's not poverty that scares us. It's losing the illusion of control. We build cages out of paychecks and call them stability. We drown our restlessness in screens and purchases and convince ourselves that peace can be delivered overnight. The Stoics warned us about this centuries ago. Seneca said that nothing external can make a man free. Epictetus reminded us that what we own ends up owning us. And Diogenes, he showed the world how little a man truly needs by living in a barrel and mocking kings to their faces. I used to think that was madness. Now I think maybe it was the only sane response to a world addicted to comfort. Because what I really need is small. Food that keeps me alive, shelter that keeps me dry, clarity to see what matters, and a purpose strong enough to get up for. Everything beyond that is decoration, and decoration, if you're not careful, becomes a shackle. To accept comfort at the cost of meaning, that isn't virtue, that's surrender. To live lean but aligned, that's not poverty, that's freedom. We tell ourselves we want peace, but what we really want is control. We bargain with fear, trading little pieces of freedom for a version of safety that never actually comes. You can't buy peace, you can only build it, one honest choice at a time. And I had to learn that the hard way. Every time I chose stability over conviction, I could feel my purpose shrink a little more. I told myself I was being responsible, but really I was just afraid. Afraid of failing, afraid of being misunderstood, afraid that meaning wouldn't pay the bills. But fear's a terrible compass. It always points you back toward the cage you swore you'd outgrown. So I started asking different questions. What if freedom isn't about more money but fewer dependencies? What if peace doesn't come from control, but from releasing the illusion that we ever had it? That shift changed everything. The Cynics taught that need is the child of fear, and I think they were right. When you strip life down to its bones, you find out how little you actually need, and how much noise you've been carrying around. That's what I see every time I'm tempted to go back to normal. To the job that looks good on paper, the routine that feels safe but dulls the soul. It's not that work is bad. It's that working without meaning is a slow kind of death. We're made to build, to create, to serve, but not to disappear inside the machinery of someone else's dream. Meaning asks for effort. Comfort demands obedience, and you can't serve both. I know now that real wealth isn't what you keep. It's what you can let go of and still stay whole. When you strip life down to the essentials, you start to see who you really are. Not your job, not your possessions, not your reputation, just the raw, unadorned self. That's where self-mastery begins, not by running from hardship, but by choosing it when it serves something higher. Because hardship teaches what comfort never will: discipline, patience, clarity. It reminds you that your worth was never in the numbers. The Stoics knew that. The Cynics lived it. And I'm trying, every day, to remember it. To choose meaning over money, purpose over ease, truth over approval. I won't lie and call it easy. Some days the doubt gets loud. Some days I wonder if I'm a fool for walking away from what most people call success. But when the noise fades, when I look at my family and feel that quiet sense of peace in my chest, I know this path, this choice, is right. Because the hardship that strengthens the mind is the one worth choosing. And the freedom that costs you comfort is the only kind that lasts. So I remind myself, failing to plan is planning to fail. But planning only for comfort is failing to live. Let's plan, instead, for virtue, for meaning, for mastery. Reason will be my ruler, meaning will be my wealth, and what I build in virtue will outlast every comfort I refuse. Thanks for spending a few minutes thinking this through with me. If you value honest reflection, subscribe and start here next. Conviction and Controversy, a voice for honest reflection.